Excellent. All right. Mhm. So, welcome back everyone then. We kicked off our last session as the party entered combat with a gargantuan desert critter, a rotting carcass covered with vermin and oozing with necrotic magic. After 6 rounds, the party managed to overcome the creature, making a few discoveries. It is hampered by sunlight, immune to numerous magics, and its touch can paralyze. The party managed a long rest and hit the road the next morning, expecting to reach Alar by lunchtime. Unfortunately, a few hours into their journey, they were forced to make a diversion around a 5-mile wide cactus field. The party then found shade during the most intense heat of the day, resuming their travels thereafter. And eventually, by the light of the setting sun, the party lay eyes on Alar. But as they take in the sight, they see smoke on the horizon twisting faintly upwards. A moment later, a sound like tearing sky rips through the air. From behind, a vast blue-grey shadow streaks overhead, and the party watch as a dragon tilts and banks towards the oasis city. Thunder and lightning sound aloud as bolts strike down from the dragon's jaws, decimating the walls of the city. The creature circles again and again, each pass unleashing another torrent of lightning that splits towers, domes, palms, and homes in arcs of searing blue light. And through the glare, Valrus glimpses a shadowy figure clinging to the dragon's back, cloak whipping behind in the storm. The dragon makes 3 passes over Elar before flying off in a northwesterly direction. The party, initially silent, resolve to give chase. And this is where we pick up. You have just witnessed the destruction of a city about 3 miles ahead of you. Black smoke curling up from many areas within the melted walls of Alar, the wind carrying the cries of those within. And just beyond, a dragon, growing ever smaller, flies away. It is larger. Um, why don't you roll a yeah, you give us a perception check. Okay. Um, Yeah, this one is significantly larger and looking a lot more whole, not as undead as the other one, if that's the lightning one that you're alluding to. There is also there's also the matter of this one having a rider on its back, much smaller than the Death Knight that you know is walking through the jungles of Chult. Why don't you all give me a group history check? Yeah. Wow. Ooh, and a 20. Look at that. Yeah, that actually strikes quite good because you've been cooped up. You probably would never have really heard much about this area. But it's Yelena and Lunan. Okay. Now neither of you have been here, but with your history check, obviously, you have seem to recall reading a couple of passages about this desert area. This the region itself is dusted. The region itself is tucked against the ocean side here, which is known as the Skeleton Coast, which gets its name from the amount of ships and travelers who think that they can easily meander across the desert and land up as part of its aesthetic. The, the desert itself is controlled by a royal family. Vargo actually spent quite a lot of time here, as this is where he trained in Aman in the north to become a war wizard. Okay. Um, Let me just. Okay. It is a desert kingdom that is situated on the eastern side of the continent. It is the capital city is Ben Salam, which you know is an oasis of civilization. The grand city itself is made of marble, ivory, and tales come of gold as well. And this 1 minute. All right. So to to the north is the orc belt which protects civilization from all of the horrors coming from the ice region. To the south are the kingdoms of men. Magic in this area, you seem to recall, is seen as a divine right or the responsibility of the military, and it is all the property of the Sultan. You know that there is a class system, there is a monarchy, and there are elite warriors called the Black Guard. You do not know a heck of a lot about the class system, although Vargo would be able to inform you. And you have heard tell tales that women in this area are powerful sorcerers, more so than men. In fact, most men are not allowed to cast spells in this area. It is the privilege of the station of women. And also, you have heard a rumor that the royal family have got a court of advisors also purely made up of these spellcasting women. It is a city or a region of lots of upside downs. As for the pirate city in Macanto, well, all you know is that it seems like it's been left to thrive as it is. What purpose it serves, you might find out. Yeah. Mhm. It's all yours. Hmm. I think Dustin's used to that sort of stuff, though. Yeah. Yes, so what you do know of is that the laws here are very harsh. Um, I can only, I'm going to let you take for granted that because you spent so much time with Fargo, he would have spoken about his past and his training in the desert areas. So he would have told you that most things like thievery are dealt with by cutting off the hands of the thieves. Where it comes to other crimes, people are often carted off to the northernmost city and they can win back face their honor by going into battle against the raiding hordes of ogre and orc from the frozen regions up north. It is a system that is based on warfare and survival. And for that was it, yeah. Ooh. Oh yes. Yeah, I mean, you could put your magical things into a magical bag of holding. That is a very good question. I am, from what you've with with your 20 on your history check, from what you've heard, the place doesn't really tolerate outsiders that much unless they have a purpose. Um, there are one or two cities that do, um, but the inner palaces and civilized areas are quite traditional in their daily lives. Could be an explanation for why the pirate city is still standing. Mm. What color is it? That's right. Yeah. Or yellowy brown, yellowy sandy color. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yes. Cart? Wagon? Vehicle? Cart. Chariot. Nice. Yes. You're currently 3 miles out, and as you look down upon the city, you can see it's not a very big city. Okay. It looks like the city itself is crowded around a very small oasis with about 4 or 5 broken and collapsing towers. Many of the domes and towers are split and cracked open and melted and burning. Rows of palms are alight, and the city is now slowly being covered in a layer of fine ash. People are screaming, fleeing. You can see bucket chains of water being thrown onto burning buildings. As the sun slowly starts to set, the haze from the smoke and the fire almost creates like an eerie, shadowy effect ahead of you. Smoke rising, highlighted by flames pouring high into the air, making it a lot darker. And as you stand watching, little flakes of ash slowly reach your feet from where you are. The wind has begun to pick up. Mm-hmm. All right. Can let's go just around the table and remind each other what are we wearing and what do we look like. Let's start with Yelena. Your appearance. color? Would you say that it is a dark blue, a light blue? You're allowed some creativity, of course. Okay. And armor and boots. So a light blue cloak, just pinned around your neck. Some of them came from Chult. Hmm. Yeah, magic items, aren't they? And you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so which dwarves was this from? Harakama, the studded leather. Was this one of your gifts? So that would have come from the dragon then. Or so, yeah, it'll be a nice, beautiful, like blood brown. Okay, almost a crimson. So you are basically blue. You've got boots and leggings, or okay. And your skin color is blue at the minute because you're winter, yes? So you're all pretty much blue and browns. Okay. Lunan, what about you, Alfmeister? Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Oh. Mm. Was this also the Harakama gift? Nice. So your shield almost matches Yolena's armor. Yeah. Okay. G Gills. Mm-hmm. Mm. Cool. It's like gillyweed. That's the only thing from Harry Potter I remember. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right. And weapons wise, are you still carrying your machete? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yelena's got no need for that because yours is your hexblade, yes? And did you did you take a it was a day or something. Is it your magic short sword that's a packed weapon now? Yes. Yeah, I think it's a daily ritual or something if you want to change it. All right. Mm-hmm. For all to see. All right. Okay. What about Valrus? Oh. Okay. Let's hear from Valrus. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Armor? Just in case, yeah? Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about dusted? No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lunan's got the machete tucked away. Oh wait, you put it in the bag of holding now. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's right. Mm. Uh, you've had it for a long time. It was either the when you went up the tower with Azaka, or maybe it was with Mummy and Pernan Tiggerhunt. I think maybe it was studded. Mm-hmm. Bahrain. Mm-hmm. Light shoes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all of you are pretty much kitted out at the minute, and you've all got backpacks on? Yes. Mm-hmm. To each other, yeah. Okay. And as you are, mm-hmm. Oh, that the fruits, yes. This is true, yes. The fruits are definitely they have turned 100%. But they have dried more like prunes than anything else. Do you want to go ahead and give me a nature check? I mean, look, they don't stink and they're not rotting. They look like they've dried out, but whether they are Still potent or not, you can't tell unless you ingest one. Oh, brilliant. I was thinking that. Everyone was. That's it. Oh, you should have just said fetch, Lunan, and then thrown it. All right, as oh, that will work even better, yeah. All right, quit whining about it. All right, that was a poor taste joke. It's not going back. So, as you stand giggling at the thought of Dusted eating a prune, the city in front of you is slowly but surely turning into charcoal. As you make your way, as are we, Lunan? How fast are you traveling? Hmm. All right, with your spectral elk pulling the way and all of you on the wagon, willing it forward as fast as possible, you manage to reach the burned, destroyed gates of the city within 30 minutes. It is chaotic. People are screaming. They're running forwards and backwards. Adults trying to ferry kids away. There is a bucket line moving from the oasis in the center to various parts in the city. Can everyone give me a group perception check, please? Okay, right. As you've taken in the scene, it is mainly Lunan that notices everything. Yelena a little bit. Dusted and Valrus, it is a chaotic scene in front of you. The horizon is lit up by the orange and yellow glow and shadows from the fires that are busy burning. What really jumps out at you in this scene of chaos is the organized structure of these bucket lines ferrying water to the burned out places. And how people can remain so calm at a time like this is beyond you at this point in time. You're just standing there taking it all in. Yelena, you look around and there is a lot of organization that's going on. The people that are running around look like they have suffered some damage. Some of them have got scars and burns. Some of them, their faces are just covered with grief, and others are just trying to get away. Their morale has been shattered, and they're just fleeing the destruction. The majority of people, though, seem to be working as a team. You can see that there is some sort of organization, even amidst the chaos. It is almost calm. the way that they are dealing with things. They're going about business on a logical scale. Lunan, when you take a look around, the first thing that strikes you, even in the low light, you can see all of the people that are ferrying buckets and doing the majority of the work are all dressed in sand-colored clothing. They've got hoods on, despite the temperature being quite warm. They're, they've got sandals, they're barefooted, some of them as well, and they're working quite hard. Every now and then, as you look around, you can see people in some of these bucket lines or helping wearing yellow clothes and colors, mixed in with some browns and tans. But the only other colors really that you see are one or two caftans of orange, some sparks of bright orange color here and there mixed with a bit of yellow. Despite the soot and the ash, and as you look around, your blue cloaks definitely stand out. You don't really see that much blue. You, the colors in the area are just bland. And as you are taking in the scene, someone in yellow comes running over to you as you are busy walking towards this city that has been reduced to a lot of rubble. It's a woman. She's probably, well, she's definitely human, so she's in her late 20s. Young, covered in soot. And as she comes over, ah, Numsy, Numsy, please, you must not come in. You must not come in. We, oh, you do not, you are not from these parts, are you? Well, yes. I have never seen a blue pointy-eared person before. Nor. Oh. And she looks at you, Valrus, and despite the shock, she's still like at a loss for words. I've never seen your color before. Well, but we have tieflings, yes, but they are not of the colors over here. Our tieflings are sand colored. Ah, the Koram do not call them sand devils for nothing. For ev for every tiefling, eventually. Mm-hmm. And she looks at you, Dustin, and all of a sudden she stops talking. She's like, I, I, I apologize. I've lost myself. This is no time for jokes. Our city is burning. Um, clearly you are outsiders. Tell us, please. Maybe you can lend us some aid. Hmm. Oh yeah, it's an oasis. The majority of the town is surrounded around the oasis. I would probably say like a resort and a ski slope. All of the buildings are facing the oasis. They're all surrounded by it and fed off it. There's nothing else in the area that would take their attention. 15 feet would be about 3 floors. Not anymore. Most of the tall buildings were struck down. I would probably say there's one or two that are close to 15. She looks at you and she's like pleading, saying, "It could not get much worse, but roll a persuasion check for me, please." The DM says it in her voice. All of a sudden, a 13. I'm going to, well, I'm going to say before you do anything, she's asking for your help. She turns around and she looks at Allah when you say destruction, and she looks back and she's like, I mean, how much worse can it get? I would probably say that I would say with the 13, she's all right with the idea. Uh, all right, Lunan, it is a good 200-foot stretch of ground leading up to the oasis. Um, uh, okay. Oh, okay. Is this just control water? Because I can copy paste, I think. Okay, so it you're gonna use flood, and then what are you going to? Yeah, there's two parts in the flood though, isn't there? Because it says if the area includes a shore, the water spills over onto dry land, which of course it will do then, won't it? So it doesn't. the water's not levitating up 20 feet. You're raising the sea level, aren't you? Mm-hmm. What happens? Yeah, so we're gonna have that says if you choose an area in a large body of water, you can create a 20-foot tall wave that travels from one side of the area to the other and then crashes down. So what Dusted it's exactly what Dusted was saying. You could create a wave that could just circumference travel around the oasis wide enough to hit everything. Yes. All right. Um, Describe what that means. You're just going to do enough. All right, I'm gonna ask you to describe how it's going to start and what it's going to look like and what you're going to do for us then. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Give me firstly an Arcana check. Crikey. And give me a performance check. Yowzers. A 0. Brilliant. A 4. Okay. Yeah, I'll allow that. Ah! Well, I mean, you. All right. Um, you got your Arcana check, which really is the most important thing. I wanted to see if you would be able to be in tune and control it correctly. So as you begin creating this tidal wave, really in essence, the water in the lake begins to wobble and start to churn as it almost crests with little bits of white water and they start to whip around. You're you're struggling to maintain control because all of a sudden it like shoots up to 3 feet and moves and then rumbles and breaks and starts to build up again. And from what you were saying, you were going to make it whip around a couple of times, so people got the impression that there was something that you were going to do to the water in order to help them. Well, as you've got control of the spell, and the spell is going to work as intended, but in terms of the performance of it, you can see Lunan as he's kneeling on the floor praying. And Lunan, are you just using your mind or your willpower to control it, or do you need semantics to control water? You do, isn't it? It's verb. Okay, so you are using your body as well. And you can see Lunan as he's moving and he's swaying, he's struggling to maintain control. And as he almost thinks he's got it, you see the water shoot up to 5 feet. And then it changes shape in midair as it crashes down, not just crashing, it slams into the surface of the oasis, picks up again almost immediately. What starts off as a very small manipulation of the water to create a tidal wave, all of a sudden turns into something much more chaotic. Screams from the crowd of water elemental start to grow louder as the people scream in terror and begin fleeing from the oasis. All the way, Lunan, as you're standing there, people start bumping into you as they are fleeing the city in its entirety. Screams of water elementals attacking after Dragonfire just leave you bewildered as the city empties itself within about 2 minutes. All right. The original plan for it to roam around the circumference begins its erratic movements as it starts striking out into buildings, smashing down some of the lone standing walls as the pressure of the water just envelops everything and snuffs out any fires, cooling any melting brick or clay. And eventually it makes its circumference around as the people slowly begin to realize, Lunan, that it is you controlling the water. And as it begins its journey towards the end, the mutterings in the crowd begin to rise. There is a little bit more unrest. The rest of you roll a perception check for me, please. Dusted, you turn around and you attempt to calm the crowds behind you. You can see that they're beginning to getting angry, or even angrier. Valrus and Yelena, the dying light of the sun on the horizon, you see a shadowy form heading towards Allah. And it's only then, Yelena, that you realize, or you hear someone behind you saying, it's coming back. Look! Oh my god, it's coming back! Oh yes. No, master. She is standing there shaking in her knees in shock, yes. We, stranger, we do not. This is the storm god Talos. He has returned to torment us. But our homes. We, we cannot abandon our homes. As you ask that question, you hear a great screaming roar crack out across the sky. As the dragon roars and breathes lightning, it sparks, lighting up the darkness. It is probably about a minute out, and as that happens, a hush falls over the people all around you. We need to run. We need to run! Everybody! We need to run! Our city is destroyed! What you've left in your houses has been washed by the water! We have nothing! Flee! And as one, almost like the murmuration of birds when they're flying through the air, they all turn and they begin a slow and steady jog northwards. Mm-hmm. 100%. Tell me, explain Yolena's familiarity with dragons then. Yes, it was. Um, that is a good question. Um, it is, I mean, it's big. Let me just bring up. It was large. I think it was huge. Yes, actually, it was huge. Yeah. It, and then you caught it through a net, with nine other dwarves. Yes, it did. This, this is not huge. This, no. This one is gargantuan. Mm-hmm. Thanos, did you say? Ah. Talos, the god Talos. Talos. This. Before you go anywhere, can everyone roll initiative for me, please? All right. Teleport extraordinaire. Yes, indeed. And well, as you are standing discussing this, the dragon has been flying closer. and it wheels around as you're busy talking. Roll a perception check for me. Everyone. Lunan and Valrus. It is night. There is a fire blazing in the background, ruining your dark vision. So you are definitely in dim light and your dark vision hasn't been able to kick in. I mean, it is difficult. The difficulty rating is a 20 to have seen anything. But a good 60 feet at the edge of your vision, just at the edge of the darkness, banking around at a 45-degree angle, 60 feet in the air and 60 feet away from you, eyes locked on to all of the now refugees surrounding you. As the dragon's maw opens, you both catch a glimpse of the face of the rider. Yelena, it strikes you as quite odd. At the edge of your vision, what you can see is there is a shadowy form with a cloak whipping out in the back of it, but you didn't expect it to be a small person. The body shape is stocky. But Valrus and Lunan, as you lay your eyes upon this person, there is without a doubt, no doubt, that it is firstly a dwarf. And secondly, as your eyes grow wide and you realize not only have you seen this person before, but she's the one that you've been tracking. Seated on the back of this dragon, with a long spear in hand, holding on to a harness. Cathla, the dwarf, is mounted. She's wearing battle-armored plate mail that's glinting with a silvery blue hue to match the dragon's scales that she's riding on. The lance in her hand is silver all the way through, right up to the tip. And her boots and the shoulder pauldrons, you instinctively can tell that they're all made of dragon scale as well. She gazes upon you with fury in her eyes. As the dragon unleashes its breath weapon, I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw, please. Or let me ask you this, would you care to try and dodge out of the way before I make you save? Let me And you... I don't know. I don't know why this dragon doesn't want to be... Uh, it lets me add the token, but it doesn't let me add the stats. I think it lasted 8 hours, wasn't it? Hmm. Well, it would definitely last less than a day. I would say if it's ingested, it would last as long as until you go to the toilet again. So, mm, I would say at the didn't you make extra? Ah, but had if they last 8 hours and then you ate them just before they turned on 8 hours, yeah, what I'm saying is you make them at the end of your long rest in the morning, and then you eat them at lunchtime, and then you've got the 10 hit points for the other half of the day. Or if you eat them straight away, you have them for half a day. I guess half a day is a good in in this instance, it's already the next evening. So either way, I don't think Lunan you would have the 10 hit points. Sorry, bud. What did you roll for your initiative again? 412. I need to put one on it. Yeah, gosh, I'm just going to use him. All right. Let's have a look at some of these. Wow. Who didn't? Lunan, did you do a deck save? Did you say no, you were gonna jump out of the way? Yelena, do you get your own bonus as well? Okay. Um, as you all dive and take cover, a 120-foot line of lightning fires out. He is only 60 feet away, so it fires right past you into the crowd of people. It's 10 foot wide. And Dusted, roll a d20 for me, please. Only There are only two people left standing. Let me just go. Yeah, the 10-foot wide beam of lightning does 77 points of damage. Um, Literally baking everybody as they stand, gawping at the dragon. And that, and then it flies, carries on flying into the darkness. Yelena. Oh, the beam didn't hit any of you, by the way. It was only a 10. It was only 10 foot wide. Oh. Does it still give you plus 10? Nice. Okay. Jesus, that's crazy. No, you are a couple of 100 feet away from the buildings. Mine, well, 100 at least. It's the blaze from the city, yes. I mean, I'm going to give you inspiration for that. Okay. All right. So you're going to do. All right, Yelena. So you're heading towards the buildings and you're going to do hiding in there, yes? Okay. Roll a persuasion check for me. 15 is good enough. Absolutely. All right. Um, and then you're going to move, what is it, 35, 30 feet? All right, 35 feet to closer towards the buildings. Okay. They do as they're instructed and they follow you. Oh my God, what? The steed has telepathy for 1 mile. Works only with you. Yeah. Okay. So the steed is going to then take off. Do me a favor and roll a d20 plus 1. Okay, so that was the steed's survival check. As it takes off in a direction it assumes is the correct one, it oh no, definitely not. It heads off into the darkness. Now remind me. Remind me of the equipment that you left in the cart. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to double check and ask you as well, just in case. Just the cart. All good? All right. Then anything else, Yelena? Okay, that will bring us to Dusted then. They haven't said anything yet. Okay. Are you going to be following her? All right. So then you're heading for a building, yes? Okay. Lunan? It is beyond your vision in the dark. You do see which direction he's going off in, yes. Mm-hmm. Alright, yeah. Alright, give us a stealth check, would you? Cool. Alright, so you're gonna follow the rest in towards the city. Or what's left of it. Valrus. Alright. Stealth? That is good. Awesome. Anything else you're gonna do then, Valrus? Okay. As a group, you all spread out and you slowly stealth your way in towards the ruined city. A couple of seconds pass and you don't hear the sound, or any sound besides the sizzling remains of a drenched city now. Yelena, I'd probably say about 2 rounds passes without a sound, as you found yourselves hunkered in, and the two people with you, the one girl begins to start crying. They're all gone. And there's no point in living anymore. She's a young girl, but you can't really tell with the headscarf and everything that she's wearing. But she's quite young. She must be in her late teens. The other person is more of an elderly gentleman. He's also wearing tan robes and clothes. I can't believe that we've got to hide here and we're all that's left. Are we gonna survive? Oh, we cannot do that. No. What? No. We cannot let this dragon loose on Ben Salam if he follows us there. I'm afraid. But I would bring shame on my house and my name for bringing the wrath of a dragon upon him. see you and I have a different meaning of honor. This is our way. It is better for me to stand up for my people and lead the dragon away and save the rest of my people from what I have just witnessed. And then my family might be elevated from the tans and browns to the yellow and even the orange. And I shall dine in paradise. I have some family left, but I am hoping to meet them in Almia. If I can escape and survive, I will head there. In fact, Ben Salam is no place for outsiders. No. Without a letter of reference, outsiders will be shunned and locked out. Hmm. If you if you help if you help me to Almere, my uncle, he is the mayor. He will write a letter of reference for you and he will explain your heroics. And the Sultan will welcome you with gold and jewels more than you can weigh. Well, don't let me stop you then. We have heard tales. Some speak of Talos, the Storm Lord returning. He who brings the thunder. There's some nonsense cult babbling about his return. Talos has not been in these lands for many years, but it is his dragon that is the avatar of destruction. And by all rights, this creature that plagues us now is showing us his wanton destruction. Who am I to argue? I do not follow the Storm Lord myself. I'm sad to say I'm not a religious person, really. But I do know that of a prophecy. I do not know it by name, but there are many of these wandering priests spouting truths about the past, and they are handing out these flyers with the prophecy. Might that lead you in the right direction, perhaps? haven't told you. I have not, have they? We have only heard tales that it has been traveling through the deep desert. We didn't think it would come this far. But it has only been around. I think we heard tale a week ago. And judging by the movement, this must be a recent dragon. Why it has arrived, I do not know. What reference have you got about silver dragons? I, it is blue-ish. It is more blue than silver. I would, yeah, I would say it looks more misty or cloudy, if anything, like cloudy blue. Mhm. S- s- How long are you? Mm. You reach out with your telepathy to make contact with your spectral steed, and as you reach out further and further, it reaches the maximum, and yet you have no contact at all. As it reaches its range, and there is no contact whatsoever. How does it disappear if it goes a certain distance? Yeah, and then it mauls you. It's like, you left me behind! Pass without trace, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Um, you summon the steed, and summoning comes quite quickly. It just, there's no difficulty as if it was already alive. The creature appears in front of you and, Mistress, you left me to die. I knew I would see you once more. Meh. Yes, you. Yeah. Um, a spec Melchior. Melchior the elk. Melchior the elk. Melk the elk. Mm-hmm. Melk the elk moves forward meh, and starts to nuzzle you. Oh, you smell like home. Meh. Oh, correct. It's telepathic. Mhm. I am currently looking at the stats for the otherworldly steed, and it doesn't actually say it has dark vision. It was pitch black. All I remember is piercing pain, and I thought, ah, my spleen. Ah, I'll never see my master again. Yes, I am. Yes. The cart did not survive, says. Oh boy. Yeah. Dead gods. Meh. Anthropal. The old man is busy chewing his nails, which taste like banana bread. Mmm. This is not as delicious as I hoped. What you can smell is fear. Um, I do not think that anywhere would be safe if this is truly the avatar of the storm god. Then we are all doomed. The only way to survive is to worship Talos himself. Unless the dwarf is Talos. And your eyes do not deceive. Well, if there is anything as powerful as that that can be controlled, the Sultan would want it. But you are. What are you going to offer? You need a tithe or a gift in order to see the Sultan without an invitation or references, a letter of introduction. Oh, yes, yes. If you get us safely to Elmir, I will ensure my uncle gives you the best letter of introduction. And the little girl has already passed out from fear and adrenaline. It's got to her. Mm, I can. Ooh, with no wagon. They another deck card. The The elk lets you know positively that carrying two people should not be an issue. Mm. Hmm. The old man looks around. Well, if it is safe to scavenge in the city, and if you can see in the dark, perhaps you might be able to find something, but 250 gold pieces worth of incense is certainly a lot. You would need quite, I don't think any that much would have survived. We would need to find some on the road. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, they're creeping, but they're hiding behind the pillowcases. Thalrus. All right. Thalrus, you peek and peer outside. It's been, well, I mean, you've been chatting for quite some time, discussing tactics, and Melkiak has also been around for a while, so it's been a minute for sure, maybe even 10. You look around, Valrus, your dark vision has already kicked in. There is no light around except from the moon in the sky. Everywhere is bathed in moonlight and darkness and ash. And as you look around, roll a perception check for me. It is dead quiet. It is still. There is no movement. You wait a beat and look around again, and it's pretty quiet. Sounds like your dragon problem is over. Surprise, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Give me a. Okay, so give me a stealth check and a perception check. Dusted. You exit the building climbing on the side walls using your spider climbing abilities granted to you by those slippers that you're wearing, and so fetching they are. Climbing up and around the structure, you make your way onto what's left of the roof and you peer around. The landscape is bathed in silvery silence. It's a cloudless night almost, except for the remaining smoke almost hovering above Allah. You strain your ears to have a listen. There is a slight breeze, but nothing else really stirs, and as you look around, you can see for at least 6 miles. And it is clear. And as you see in the distance, give me a survival check quickly. Crikey, you're rolling like a pro. Okay. Tracking a flying creature is normally a difficult task if you are unaccustomed to finding the signs. You know, things like carrion lying around on the ground or scatterings of birds, feathers from the ground from attacks, etc., or claw marks from where they've landed. But at night as well, trying to find something in the dark at a distance dusted. It's a very difficult task, and you managed to nail that. Not only nail it, but just towards the edges of your vision, about 5 miles out, glistening under the moonlight, you catch a wink of scales. It looks like the dragon and Catho were flying in a circular pattern, concentric, moving further and further outwards, searching for you, and has now banked off, given up the chase, and appears to be headed north. Now's our chance. Now, many places to hide in the desert. And will be easier to hide without the cart. Trust me, I was once a desert rat myself. Yes. Ben Salam is not a city that I would frequent. I do not go in there. That is the the military capital. Hmm. I am I am but a lowborn. I served my time, was made commoner, and then was made lowborn after I thieved once again. No, no. There are very few there are very few jails in Chandalar. Soldiers and criminals. Oh, good look. And as you do, you notice he does indeed have both of his hands. Yes, he does. Ah, he did say he did say the word thief, yes. What's Dustin getting angry about? All right, fair enough. So Dustin walks off in a bit of a storm and confusion, almost exasperated, yes? Yes. Okay. Hmm. Your friend is quite strange. We are we are a military society. Hmm. You are outsiders. Wha- Well, my unit, we were stationed on the other side of the Kandarian dunes, and the incursions over there from the plains. And it was my family that was elevated at once, which is why my cousin is mayor. You see, my family is then my uncle. But my cousin is there. I was saying all of my family have moved to Almia. Why would we want to live in Ben Salam when we can make our own rules? You see, the rules are a little bit lax on the outskirts. It's very formal inside Ben Salam. But you must be on your best behavior, which is why they don't allow normal soldiers inside Ben Salam. We do not behave. Once we get that honey mead in our tummies, well, that's a different story. Okay, so we are going to end tonight's session here as you escape the clutches of a dragon and manage to stealthily avoid an encounter with Kathla and center towards Ben Salam. And there I was just about to say that you showed restraint. mm. Hmm. The picture is incorrect. I've got to make the right token for it, but you'll get some images incoming